Hi everyone, I am back with a TV series review of The Chosen One. I know there are multiple shows with that same name, but this one just came out on Netflix very recently. And it is a show about a 12-year-old boy named Jody who lives in Baja California. And as a child, as an infant, I should say, survives a freak accident and then determines that he has these godlike, or Jesus to be specific, like powers. And the story turns into his realization and how the story progresses as the village he lives in finds out about his powers and how he navigates through that and how the village navigates with him. And it's also about sort of about the friends that he makes as a child. He's these few friends he hangs out with. Um, the story turns from them being outcast to the group becoming sole attention of the show, where all they love them now, especially Jody, because of the powers and how all these adults surrounding them react to that, and how some who think they are God's creation and have the ability or have the opportunity to, you know, punish others if they feel that is correct. And so that's what the story is and what happens throughout this learning process for Jody. Um, the the story itself, the concept is interesting, and I was kind of excited about it. But as I was watching the show, honestly, even though the concept is pretty good, the execution is not that great. It's very slow. The story moves very slowly. They keep hammering on Jodie's powers over and over again, and it's like, okay, we've seen them. Let's move forward. They don't reveal too much. He has these visions, I would call them. But what happens with these visions, there's no explanation. Um, right up until the end, and and then in the end, something major happens in the last episode that leads to kind of the story actually progressing much faster. The first five episodes are pretty boring, pretty slow, honestly. I was not enjoying it. It was literally almost in the background half the time, because the story moves very slowly, and that's one problem with the show. The actors themselves are really good, they all act really well, including the kids, the chemistry is there, but the story progresses very, very slowly. And the end, the, the end of the season one, I should say, is a surprise. I did not see that coming, and it definitely threatened the season two. Season one, when I saw what happens at the end in season one, I realized season one is just a setup. It's just like a preview of what's to come. The show is going to change vastly in season two, because we realize what these powers are and where they're coming from. So now the season two will go into what happens now that Jody knows the truth and what path is he gonna choose. Because a lot of the show is about good and evil, and you don't realize that until you actually see the ending of season one. So, is it worth watching? It is worth watching because if there is season two, which I hope there is for God's sake, then season one is a good setup because technically season one is really a setup for season two is what to come. Um, Unfortunately, the show is boring, as I said. It does go very slowly. The story progresses very slowly, but the actors are good. The concept is interesting, but I'm cautiously optimistic, especially after season watching what happens in the end. Season two will be more interesting, but it would be good to have this background in place to watch season two. So let's see if it's even renewed or not. So if you have seen it, what are your thoughts? Did you find it the way I did? I'm not gonna lie, it was boring. Half of the shows are very boring for me. unfortunately. But um, but I'm curious about season two for sure. Now that I've watched season one, I can actually move into season two fairly easily, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. Have you guys watched it? What were your thoughts? I'm curious. Please like, share, and subscribe my channel, and thank you so much for watching.